Now, I'd like to talk about money. Now, money should be a utility. It should serve to make life easier. It shouldn't serve to make life more difficult. And it should never become the be all and end all of everything. That makes life very painful indeed. Money is simply a symbol. It's an important symbol, but it simply symbolizes the resources available. This should never be forgotten. It is a way of managing resources. The resources on your planet have to be measured, and the finance department has to distribute enough money to the people, taking into account how much resources there are. Now, all of this is not possible in a capitalist society because everything is based on ferocious competition between thousands of different companies, and everything is based on the fact that money is higher than everything. Money is almost a god. And in this situation, total chaos prevails. But in the socialist society, and when I say socialist society, I mean a society that is not antisocial, because the society on the earth is antisocial. Everything is antisocial about every kind of thing that goes on around here. The catatonic human society is a social society, which is natural, because if it's a society, it has to be social. Therefore, it's socialist. And this does not mean that everyone is poor. No. If there are 6 million people on the globe, then everyone should be rather rich. In fact, it should be possible to give a salary of about $140,000 a year to the base caste. The base caste should be always more than 80% of the people. You should never ever have a poor minority. Now, the upper caste should be a small minority, and the very rich people indeed shouldn't be more than 1,000th of the population. Of course, there have to be very rich people, and the governors should be paid salaries that are conform to their duties. They shouldn't be paid miserable salaries and then do other jobs on the side. No, they should be forbidden to do other jobs on the side. Absolutely. It should be absolutely forbidden for them to do anything else except for their job. So they should receive $150 million salaries for being in government on a global level. And this is just. Now, of course, people who cannot control feelings like envy will want to deny their leaders all of this. Well, if they want to deny their leaders the just reward for what they do, then they will only end up with corrupt leaders who will steal money secretly while they're just clowning around in their roles. They won't have any serious governors at all. Now, the money has to be organised by a serious Department of Finance. and all the money from the production sector, all the earnings from the production sector have to go towards the social sector. And the social sector should be employ at least about 90% of the people. The police, the Sacred Army, the Green Army, the hospitals, which are very, very important, the schools, which are very, very important, the maintenance of the roads, the maintenance of the railways, the maintenance of the buildings. Buildings should be steam blasted regularly. They should be kept sparkling clean. Your city shouldn't look dusty and dirty. They should be sparkling clean all the time. And all this is done by automatic machinery, of course, but there have to be people who survey the automatic machinery. And the social sector has to be at least 90% of the population. The actual sector involved in, for example, harvesting food and producing cars and producing goods should not be more than about 10 to 12% of the population, because you don't need more than 4 people to produce all the cars needed on the planet. And you don't need more than 4 people to supervise the whole railway system on the planet. And you don't need more than 4 people for any of these kind of tasks. So just a very small percentage of the people will be actually the so-called labour force. But of course they don't work like labourers at all. They sit behind very complex computers, surveying very complex manoeuvres. So money in itself should be beautiful in its form. The banknotes should be made as impressive as possible, and they should be practically impossible to clone. It is very important that money is based on banknotes and coins. It is not advisable to have a passage to electronic money at all. It is advisable to have machines in the shops that accept banknotes and coins. The shops should not have anyone in them at all to survey them, because theft is a terrible crime, and normal people do not commit theft. So, in the light of this, in a society made out of normal people, you do not need anyone guarding the shops at all. Anyone who does steal, which is a very rare thing indeed in a normal society, will actually have such a look on his face that nobody will serve him in any bar or restaurant, and his wife will not let him in the door, and he'll have to sleep out in the open until he decides to go and own up to the police. If he owns up within 72 hours, then he has committed no crime. All he has to do is arrange to pay for what he has stolen. And sometimes, if he has been an idiot and stolen a piece of jewellery that is for billionaires, then he will have to arrange for it to be paid for by his descendants over 1,000 generations or something. But and his descendants will be saying, what an idiot our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was. And nobody wants that to happen, so it's an ulterior dissuasion against stealing anything extremely valuable. People who actually commit theft in the catatonic society, and as I say, it's very rare indeed, if they actually do commit a theft, they steal a small thing. They don't dare touch the stuff that is on sale for the billionaires. And even in the most luxurious jewellery shops, there are no people surveying anything. And the catatonics have a different attitude towards objects. There is nothing used on sale at all. You see, a car is not sold in a showroom. There are underground car factories, and the people just enter there. They look at the car they want, they go and find the key, which is hanging on a hook together with all the other keys. They open the car. Once that key has been inserted and the car has been opened and they've sat in the driver's seat, that car is worth nothing for resale at all. And the car, of course, has a 13-year guarantee on everything, and the only thing that can be substituted are the wheels. And they can be very cheaply substituted automatically. They just drive down into a kind of garage where the car is lifted up and the wheels are taken off and replaced by new wheels with automatic machinery. And it costs very little indeed. So the rest of the car, even if the speedometer is failing, then the car simply slows down and invites its occupants to get out, and it drives off by itself to be demolished, because that is the most economical way of doing things. Having thousands of repair shops with people dedicating their lives to repairing different parts of cars is not possible in the economical society. It's not possible to have a luxury existence if you have waste. So things are done in this way. Well, I'll talk more about these things, about the catatonic society another time. Anyway, I want to repeat that money should never be the be-all and end-all of everything. It should be retained as very important, but it should be half a game and half serious for the people, because all the necessities people have, fun is free, because it is forbidden to associate sex with money. Absolutely forbidden to associate sex with money. That ruins any society immediately. So fun is free, but luxurious objects are nice, and people like to buy them, and they can collect them over generations in their families. People cannot buy their houses, they have to rent their houses. Even the very rich people of the upper caste who have palaces, they don't own their palaces. Their palaces are given to them with a 10,000-year sort of lease. And practically all property that is fixed property, belongs to the state. And there should be no earnings at all on rents at all. A building that contains 40 apartments should not be earning money with the rent. It has to be calculated that that building will last 3,000 years, for example, and the maintenance costs should be calculated, and the people should pay the exact rent to cover the construction costs and the maintenance costs, and no more at all. There should be no capitalising on housing at all. Well, I'll finish this video here.